Hey guys, J-Man here. Let's talk about my adventures with Superman. So let's talk about episode one. Oh boy. Okay. Let's break this down. First off, Superman is my favorite character. I didn't say comic book character. I said character, which means anything. I love Superman. He's my favorite, period. That's it. So I'm always a bit critical of Superman. It's weird. I'm critical but forgiving at the same time. So for example, I can say, you know what, Man of Steel is a trash movie, but I kind of like Superman fighting, and there's some cool battles and stuff like that. So I can see sometimes people might be like, wow, that was a great movie, and think it's a genius because the fights were kind of cool. And Superman's not really shown to be an idiot or anything like that. But it's really not the character, right? That's sort of the thing. And when I say character, I generally like the pre-crisis Superman stuff. But again, I love the John Byrne stuff. I bought Man of Steel. I was collecting Superman at that time. I was reading. I thought there were some really cool things in it. But I think generally, if you have to pick something, you have to go with pre-crisis Superman. That sort of what is Superman to me. Like, that's the world of the character. We're in this time period now where people have confused Superman with other things, like, oh, Lois is so important, and Jimmy and his family of characters. But his family of characters does not just include Jimmy, Perry, and Lois. Of course, there's Lana, right? Which people kind of ignore unless they're doing a Smallville thing or whatever. Well, you can have Lana around if you want to. But Superman's family is very confined that way. The Superman family for me is, well, there's Krypto, right? There's Comet. There's the Legion of Superheroes. There's everything he did as Superboy, right? It's not just confined to, oh, it's Lois and his stuff at Daily Planet. That is a post-crisis thinking. The pre-crisis thinking is that there's tons of super stuff. There's Supergirl, right? Okay. There's sci-fi elements. There's mermaids, right? Okay, like, there's going to different planets and meeting different people. There's Superman robots. There's Kandor, right? There's that Kandor squad team that comes out and helps out. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you're just not seeing in these shows. And that's sort of the main issue with it. Yeah. So I'm going to break it down using my space system. But to see that, you're going to have to be on Patreon. So if you want to see the full review, then please check out my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/jman77. So that's where I'll continue the review. Okay, well, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get into it. I'm going to break this down using my space system. Story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2. 2 is the best you can get in any category. I'm going to give the storyline of this a 0. Yeah, sorry. Okay, there's a lot of problems with episode 1 right off the bat. First of all, Clark Kent, as a kid, is wearing glasses, and he doesn't have his superpowers or something. It's like he acquires them. He's trying to get this kite out of the tree, and then he gets his powers. He saves these people or whatever, and then that's how he gets his powers. I'm like, well, he needs glasses? Like, why would he be wearing glasses? Like, I've been wearing glasses since grade 2, but I'm not a Kryptonian. Like, it's just stupid. That kind of it's just lazy. It's very lazy. This entire thing's very lazy. This is why it's going to get a low score, because it's just lazy. It's not particularly well, it's pretty bad. Anyway, so 0. I mean, and so Lois is working at the Daily Planet. She's working at the Daily Planet, and Clark and Jimmy are interns or something. It's like, why? Just have Clark start at the Daily Planet. I don't know why that's such a big thing. Just have him start there and have him be older. And he's very clumsy. He's clumsy when he doesn't need to be clumsy. This is the problem with the interpretation of it in this cartoon. Firstly, it's not even for kids. It's not at midnight. Now, it is for kids because kids could watch it, but why is it on at midnight? Like, put it on a normal time so kids can watch it. But, well, actually don't, because I don't want the kids watching this garbage Superman. He's watered down. He's depowered, this kind of bullshit. But like, he's clumsy. Why is he clumsy Clark? Like, Clark is not clumsy. Superman's not clumsy. He pretends to be in the pre-crisis era because that is funny, or he tries to hide it or whatever. That's not a thing that should be happening in this cartoon, in where he is in this part of his life. And the story's like, oh, Lois is chasing a story. It's just uninspired. There's giant robots, okay. It's all just very basic, uninspired, boring stuff. Where is the excitement of Superman, right? Now, in the intro to this video, I talked about, oh, there's Superman robots, and there's science fiction, and there's aliens, and there's mermaids, and it's like, where is all of that? Like, why has this been sucked out of Superman's like mythos? I love John Byrne, but maybe I've got to put some blame on this guy, because I think maybe this is all like a reaction or a continuation of his thing that he set up. It was interesting back then to be like, oh, let's reboot Superman from scratch. We're going to build all this stuff back up. But they didn't really build up anything, and they just took away stuff and didn't really add anything. This is where you got a lot of the people that don't like the Man of Steel John Byrne run, because a lot of the fun and the energy was sucked out of it. And I'm thinking, well, it's sucked out, but they're going to inject new things. But it didn't really happen. And now we're left with this kind of boring Superman. You do get some alien stuff here and there with modern comics interpreting things and whatever, but not really the full thing that I want to see. So I'm going to give it 0 for story. It's just very uninspired and boring. Pacing, I mean, I'll give it a 1 for pacing. Like, I'm not bored or anything like that. I can't give it more than a 1. I can't give it a 1.5 or a 2, because ultimately I didn't care that much, and that does affect the pacing. Like, it's a 20-minute cartoon. You know, it felt like it was a little longer. I kind of paused halfway through and I thought, oh crap, it's only been 13 minutes. Like, we still have 7 or 8 minutes to go. I thought it was almost over. So there's that. But I'll give it a 1. I wasn't like crazy bored, but you know. The artistry, this is where it's very subjective. It looks a bit more like anime, but not fully anime. But I like anime. I'll give it a 1, I guess. Like, you know, it's colorful. We haven't seen Superman in his costume yet, and it's episode 1, and that's a fail. That's a big time fail right there. But like, yeah, it's fine. Like, the costumes, it's not in there. Sorry, the costume's not in there, but I've seen pictures of it. But like, the colors look okay. But I'm gonna give it a 1. I can't give it full marks in anime or in the artistry either, because again, there's nothing exciting going on in the animation. It's like, okay, he fought a robot. The robots looked okay, I guess. I would have liked them to look more like futuristic weird robots rather than realistic military bots or whatever they were supposed to be. So I wish there would have been a little bit better designs. So I'll give it a 1, because it's like, it's okay. Characters, I'll have to, oh God, I don't know. I might have to give it a 0. I'll give it a 0.5. I'll give it a 0.5. Like, Lois learned a lesson, which is she lies to Clark to get him to help her, and then she learns a lesson. So I guess that I have to give some sort of point for that. They understand that, yeah, you shouldn't be lying, and Lois just got, you know, went a little nutty. And Clark is like, okay, I guess. I don't really care about like Perry or Jimmy, and I'll give it a 0.5 out of a it's a Superman thing, and you know, I guess he's not a murderer, so I guess it's okay. Enjoyment factor, man, gosh, I don't want to say 0, because I just feel really bad about it, and I don't, you know, but I can't really give it too many marks. I'm gonna watch the second one, so I'll give it a 0.5, because it's not like I watched it and then said I'm never watching another James Mangold Indiana Jones movie ever. But who am I kidding? I probably will watch it and then rant about it. I'll give it a 0.5. You know, it's kind of an interesting thing in Superman's life, I guess, but really it's not very good. So we're at a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. That is way below average. Like, this should have been a no-brainer 10 out of 10 cartoon, really. 20 minutes, you got modern technology. Fortunately, you got modern technology with modern thinking. And what you really need is pre-crisis thinking with modern technology. That's your formula. So that's your formula for a good Superman thing. Pre-crisis thinking with modern technology. Then you could, like, can you imagine if you had like the first Superman film and it was like maybe he fights like a monster or something, like Christopher Reeve fights guys in part 2, but imagine part 1 with like a big super fight at the end or whatever, like that'd be awesome, right? You need the sensibilities of the pre-crisis Superman, but with the modern technology. This is what we all want. I think this is what we're dreaming about when we're kids. We're like, oh, or when we were kids, we're like, yeah, like I can't wait. You know, we'd watch the Spider-Man live action show, and you're like, yeah, it's you know, it's okay. They haven't really gotten. I mean, I would say maybe Spider-Man 2 with Toby has been the closest that we got to like modern technology mixed with like actual good superheroics and like good values. Yeah, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 1's okay too. You know, Spider-Man 1's fine. Spider-Man 2, definitely. That's probably your best. That's probably one of the better superhero movies. I'd say maybe like Captain America Part 1 was pretty good. You know, Winter Soldier's good too. It's a bit modern with, oh, the government's bad or whatever. But like Captain America 1, like First Avenger, is pretty solid. Maybe Avengers Part 1 is good too. That's pretty much it, really, for me. If you're really thinking about like, because I love Winter Soldier, man. I love Infinity War and all that. But that's just more like epicness and cool. Like I'm talking about superheroics, like actual like heroic, you know, deeds and stuff like that. So yeah, those are probably your best bets right there in the modern time, and obviously Christopher Reeve, you know, in the past and all of that. But yeah, anyway, that's my review of episode 1 of My Adventures with Superman. We'll see what happens with episode 2. I'll watch it and I'll post something. But anyways, that's it. All right, guys, thanks so much. And if you're on Patreon, I appreciate it. Wow, I've got a few people signed up already. That's amazing. I never thought I'd get anybody. So thank you so much for being on here. So if you're seeing this part of it, this will eventually go to YouTube in its full, probably in about a month or so. So if you're not on Patreon, if you want to see these reviews at the time when they come out, then please consider joining up. It's patreon.com/jman77. The link will be in the description. If not, that's cool. I'll see you on a live stream. We do Legion live streams on Monday. Fridays are free for all. Wednesdays are wrestling talks. So hopefully you can join us on one of those streams. And those streams are free to the public. Those are open. So hopefully we'll see you guys on there. All right. Until next time.